What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here in the Nerd Castle with another episode of Shadowrun Dragonfall. In the previous episode, we had found ourselves finally finishing up a mission. We had to do the right thing. We really did. Or at least I felt the need to do the right thing. I simply wasn't evil enough to bring that robot back to my employer. Either one, to be honest. Just seemed like a really terrible idea. Now, Herr Schmidt can come at me. I mean, I just killed like an entire knight-errant army. So if he really wants to take that on board and be like, well, I'm still going to go after Splattercat, it's probably not going to go very well for him. There may be some lead in his future, but we did the right thing. The creature killed itself. We gave it the option to keep living. I mean, we did pretty much the best thing ever, is we gave it the option to take its own life, and it did. And so that's all perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and talk to our team now. We found out in the previous episode that Firewing had found herself, I suppose. She's not pluralized. If we had multiple dragons on our hand, I'd just like lay my head down in my hands right now and just cry. But anyways, if it wasn't too full of dragons, that is. But anyways, we had found out that Firewing had found herself a pretty good supply of chemical agents in the previous episode, so I think we're going to talk to everybody and kind of see what's going on. Let's go ahead and talk to Glory. Her expression remains distant. She says, "Three-Toe, you need something? Any thoughts on that last run?" A tinge of red crawls up Glory's neck. "Three-Toe, look at me." She extends her sculpted metal arms. Chrome glints in the flickering light. I'm not far from being what that poor troll was. When I think of what they did to him, she looks you in the eye. Her expression remains neutral, but there's a slight blush that has spread from her neck to her cheeks. It wasn't right, and you did the only thing that you could to make it better. You knew that would have cost you, and you did it anyways because it was right. I won't forget that, Three-Toe. Not ever. Everything's still okay with you? You never need to worry about me, Three-Toe. I'm fine. I'd like to know some more about that chrome you're sporting. That's not a story that I'm interested in telling out of context. If you really want to get back into it, we're going to need to go back. Way back. She stares at you with her cold, dead eyes. I'm not sure that you want to do that. Well, you said that you'll give me answers when we talk about your past, so let's talk about it. Why do you care? There's no hostility in her voice. If anything, she sounds suspicious. Well, because I'm the leader of the team, and I need to know as much as I can about the runners who are working with me. She pauses for a moment, considering, then she nods. Alright, fine. We can talk, but we're going to do it on my terms. This is a long story, Three-Toe. Long, ugly, and cruel. Are you sure you want to hear this? Please. Alright, I'm going to start at the beginning. Not for you, but for me. I guess that it might help me to say all this out loud. She takes a deep breath and slowly releases it. When she speaks, her voice comes out in a cool monotone. My family lived in Stuttgart. It was a nice place, nice enough place, I suppose, but my parents worked as wage slaves in the IFMU. My mom was a good person. Once upon a time, my father was a decent person as well. At least that's what my mom always told me, but I never knew him that way. She pauses for a long moment, and when she begins speaking again, some of the ice has fallen away from her voice. For the first time since you've met her, Glory sounds alive. The dad that I knew was old, damaged Euro-war vet who turned to hardline religion to make sense of the world. In Stuttgart, that meant either Ritter Christie and their fascist cousins or the Cruise Ritters. My father chose the latter path. I still remember hiding in my room and my father has his Cruise Ritters brothers over for prayer group. They would drink and get rowdy, then spend an hour or two riling themselves up with talk about heretics and the devil's work. Then they'd go find some poor elf or dwarf, stomp the living shit out of him and drown him in the Neckar. Meanwhile, I'd be holed up at home with Mom, who would commemorate the event by drinking a bottle of wine and crying herself to sleep. Well, I'm sorry, Glory. No child should have to grow up like that. Thanks, Three-Toe. This is difficult for me. Thanks for making it easier. Anyways, aside from the fact that my dad and his buddy were a bunch of murderous assholes, life was pretty normal. I went to school and made friends, hung out with my mom, you know, kid stuff. Then I turned 14 and everything went to shit. Glory pauses, then swallows hard. Ever so slightly, her cheeks flush red. Suddenly, she looks self-conscious, as if she snapped out of a trance. As quickly as it came, the flush of emotion disappears and her voice frosts over. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Well, airing this stuff out is clearly helping you to work through it. Yes, it is. Glory stares at you through cold, dead eyes. But I'm not going to be able to get through this in one sitting. You need to understand that. She turns away from you, her movements mechanical. Now, let's get back to the job at hand, shall we? Interesting. I like her the best out of everybody. Her story seems like it's going to be the most interesting. I mean, we all know the general idea of what it is. She was incredibly a powerful mage, and maybe her father did this to her. I mean, the thing is, every single character has essence, and so I haven't really explained this since the previous playthrough, but every human being in Shadowrun has an essence score. I think it starts out around like 8.1 or something like that, and your essence is how human you are and how well you can look into the spirit realm, and my guess is that she was incredibly powerful. She was probably one of those people that was demigod-like at a certain point, somebody that's kind of maybe on the edge. I almost, it would probably be blasphemous to say, but almost on the edge of like Harlequin, for example. Somebody who really had a destiny in magic. Somebody who was incredibly, insanely powerful. Maybe like an Algernon or something like that. Somebody who was just one of those people who's unfathomably powerful, and her dad probably found out and made her get all that, would be my guess. But anyways, we don't know yet, so I'm not going to ruin it. But if I had to make an early guess on what it's going to be, that's what I would say. We have 2 messages, so let's get down to this now. I'm sorry, let's go back. And we will go to the new messages. RE, payback is sweet. The screen flickers to life and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, Muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but your favorite poly club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyways, just thought you'd want to share in the good news, and thanks for your help back there. I don't think we'd have made it out of there without you. He raises a hand in salute. Take care, Three-Toe. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. We've got a video call for one last DVD. The screen flickers to life and Malit's face appears. She wears a plastic smile. Oi again, Three-Toe. I've recovered the last DVD for you, but I'm afraid that's all you're gonna get. You might as well use the rest as coasters. They're all beyond repair. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find that you will find the disc that I salvaged. She pauses, a slight frown crosses her face. To be completely honest, that's a lie. To recover this last disc, I was forced to subcontract. Shrati is still a brute of a man, and I'm unimpressed with his manner, and his poor hygiene disgusts me, but he's very good with old things such as this. All credit where it's due. The message ends and the image fades. You find yourself back at your inbox. Alright, well, let's open the jobs directory. And we'll claim the payment. You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. I've got a shiver. This is going to be bad. Herr Schmidt to Three-Toe. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said that we wanted the prototype, it should have gone without saying that we wanted it intact and operational. You technically fulfilled the terms of our arrangement, so you will get paid, but don't expect to work for us again. Schmidt. A moment later, a second message pops onto your inbox, your payment details. So we got the 22,000, and so to the Alice Fund we've put 1125 or 11,250. Crew salary's good right there, so 3750 to us personally. Let's view the pending jobs. We've got As Technology Sabotage, where we're gonna blow up the building. Let's go for, oh no, that's it. I mean, we don't have anything left, so that's that. How much money do we have up in here? 40,000. So this last one's gonna allow us to go back. We could technically subtract 5,000, which is what I'm gonna do. Oh, I subtracted from my own funds. That was bad. I thought I was subtracting from the Alice Fund. Weak. Well, anyways. No harm, no foul. It had to go there anyways, and we'll take the surplus from the next job, and it'll be fine. I don't know how close to the end of the game that's going to put us, but we'll live with it. Credit where credit is due. So you'll forgive me for a moment as I fix my microphone here. It appears to have shifted downwards on me, and it's going to make a little rumble sound, but bear with me. There's no earthquakes or anything. Nothing terrible is happening. There we go, and I fixed everything. Life is good once again. Now then, Iger eyes you warily. Her expression is guarded. Three-Toe, you need something? Any thoughts about that last run? I'm not gonna lie, Three-Toe. This one is gonna stick with me for a while. What they did to that troll was sick. This is probably gonna surprise you, but I'm happy that the Mark 6 is dead. Yeah, Herr Schmidt was pissed, and sure, our reputation got dinged. Neither of those are good things, but I'll take them over being a part of what they were doing to that troll any day. Walking out of a run with a clean conscience is a rare pleasure. Savor it while you can. Alright. Well, now that we've got no money to burn, I mean, I'm sitting around with 1620 in my pocket. We had 660. I could have upgraded, but everything we have is pretty much where I want it to be anyway, so it's probably alright. Let's go ahead and spend our karma now. And with our karma, I wanted to go... I thought in quickness somewhere you got an extra AP, but I don't see extra AP as a bonus anywhere in here. Kind of a weird thing. Maybe they took that out because it was overpowered. I specifically remember in the first game you could get a bunch of AP by going into quickness. So not noticing that change may be a big problem for us. You got 11 karma. Let's go... What do we have down here? Let me make sure that everything with Conjuring is where I want it to be. We've got Fire Barrier. We get a new Etiquette right there. Make our life a little bit easier. You can get 2 spirits from the same summoning point from there. Although that seems like it'd be a little risky. Let's go like so. I know I said I was going to put it into shotgun, but there's so many interesting things in here that I want to play with. There's so many toys. And so I think I'll go with the 2 spirits from the same summoning point because that really does seem kind of interesting. Let's confirm what we've got left. I'm going to save the extra karma for a hangover day. And from here on out, I suppose we'll go on in and let's do the As Technology job and we'll just see how that one plays out on us. I may check in with everybody over at the coffee shop, perhaps, and see what they have to say. I also don't know if Dietrich has forgiven me yet. Let's also continue donating to Beckenbauer. Hello again, mein friend. What can I do for you? And we'll see if we can accept donations. The library is marvelous, and you've worked okay, so we're going to get a trode net. So let's do 400. His eyes widen. This is incredibly generous yet again. Thank you, mein friend. Not a big deal. Do good with it. I can scarcely believe it. With this donation, we have met our penultimate goal. I'll send a volunteer to the data haven to acquire the trode nets. In the meantime, I'll make the happy announcement to our guests. Thank you again, Three-Toe. You never know how important you've been to the people I serve. It's my pleasure, Samuel. Anything to help. He nods at you. You're a true friend of the Kreuzbazaar. The work program has been a rousing success. At this point, we only have one more goal in mind to round out the year. I've been in negotiations with Herr Buragazi to lease another building to the Kreuzbazaar. The construction is much more modern and sturdy than our old shelter. Our people would be better protected there. In addition, the extra floor space would open up a host of new options for our organization. Oh, and another thing, Three-Toe, if we reach this goal, I'd like to name the building after you. You are, after all, our primary benefactor. With 500 new yen, we can make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. Oh, there it is. I don't know what to say, Three-Toe. With this donation, we've reached our final goal. I'll speak with Buragazi immediately and provide him with his down payment. The Three-Toe Civic Center will stand as a monument to your generosity and care. Thank you once again. You've been a godsend to the poor of the Kreuzbazaar, and I will see to it that they know it. The Three-Toe Civic Center. It has a nice ring to it. I'm happy that you're pleased. You've more than earned it. Are you accepting donations any further? Thank you, my friend, but no. We've grown as much as I'm comfortable with in 1 year, and you've done quite enough already. Know that you've positively impacted the lives of a great many Kreuzbazaar residents, Three-Toe. Be proud of that fact. Oh, maybe that'll open up something later on down the line. It was something that I'm happy to do in the memory of Monica. I mean, she seemed like she took care of everybody around here, and so if we can make things better and kind of live up to her big shoes or step into those big old boots, I don't have a problem doing it. Now, what did I use in my last run that's been subtracted from my kit? I used some med... Okay, so I used up some med kits. We're going to want to go on over... The doc is pretty pissed at us, but we're going to want to go over and talk to him now. And the second that we get there... There it is. We'll talk to him, and I know he's pretty pissed off at us. Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend? I hope that our recent misunderstanding won't have an impact on our ongoing business relationship. Misunderstanding, Three-Toe? I'm sure that I don't even know what you're talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not hearing me. I don't know what you're talking about. I know nobody in the sewers, and I know nothing of extracurricular activities. As long as you're on board with that, our business together can continue unabated. Deal? Deal, Doc. Good. Now let's move on to another matter. Do you have any business for me? Some work you need done, perhaps? Medical supplies, in fact. So let's grab ourselves... We only have a little bit of cash, but let's grab... a couple of the big guys. And then we'll also grab a Pomona or two. And we'll throw that all into the stash, and it'll be fine. And then once we get on out of here, we'll go to the coffee shop. We'll talk to Buragazi. We'll see what he's got waiting for us, if he's got anything at all. And then once we've talked to him, we'll head out on our next run, which is going to be a big one. We're wiping out an entire building here. This is kind of one of those aspirational shadow runs, and I'm not even sure what to tell you guys about. This is kind of like how you culminate a campaign most of the time. So this could be what's last in there before we go after our ultimate goal. I'm disappointed because I did want to run more things on my own, but it's been a fun ride. Let's talk to Kami. Kami brightens up as you approach her, grinning widely. Hey there, Altug was just telling me you were around. I was wondering if you might be willing to trade a story or two. What are you looking for exactly? The girl taps a finger thoughtfully against her chin. Well, you're new here. I know that you knew Monica, and I've got a vague idea about what went down the night she died, but I want to know what you think your most exciting adventure has ever been. Hang on, how the hell did you hear about that? She smirks playfully. Remember, I'm Altug's ears and hands outside of the cafe. We share a lot of intel, he and I. So what's the story between you two then? She glances away briefly before returning her gaze to you. I suppose I can tell you, if the Monica thing was a secret of yours, it's only fair that I share one of my own. I never really went to school, pretty much been a street kid as long as I can remember, and there was so much to learn from people outside of the school that I never really bothered. Makes it difficult to get a job, so as all good street kids do, I chose a place to haunt with my friends and always hung out there. That was Altug's Cafe, and he was super nice about me and mine. I felt more comfortable with him than I ever did mine Vader. Her eyes narrow only for the briefest moment at the word, and we talked a lot when I was waiting around for my friends. He must have been fairly comfortable with me too, otherwise he wouldn't offer me a job. So what is it that you do exactly? Technically I'm the barista, but like I said before, ears and hands. I run his errands, I gather gossip, and sometimes I even make coffee. I much prefer his hookah options though. Real coffee makes me feel paranoid. Speaking of which, I should probably get back to work. See you around. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but we didn't have to answer our question. She answered one of ours, so I guess that's that. Getting out with something free right there. Let's talk to Luca and see what he's got to say. My organization is displeased with your performance in the AG Chem Europa office. It would have been very easy for you to make some extra nuyen by doing what we had asked of you. Now, do we have any business to discuss? The Humanist leader is safe. I hope that pays off. It does for you. Here's your bonus. My bosses will be pleased to know that you can be relied on in the future. So there's an extra 1,000. That's cool. An extra dosh to throw around, I suppose. A little bit of extra scraps or chips or whatever else you want to call it. Blitz's eyes wide when he sees the drone that you're carrying. He looks anxious. Oh, hey, Chief. How's it going? I found this drone in that hotel vault. Does it belong to you? Yeah, Chief. That's mine. I didn't want to say anything at the time since it was my idea to have you loot the vault in the first place, but, what was it doing in there? It's my personal drone. Good to have something to hide behind when you're on a solo decking run, you know? Lester took it from me when she seized control of the Schwarzherz, and I've been hoping to get it back ever since. I've got to say, Chief, it hurt me to see her all banged up to hell like she was. Looked like Lester had a few of her goons take turns on my baby with a baseball bat. But it looks like you've got her up and running again. How'd you manage that? Malit fixed it. Says it won't listen to anybody but you, though. Score. So, can I have it back? Sure, no use to me anyways. And so there's the drone that we were talking about throughout the entire thing. Blitz stubs out his cigarette at your approach. Three-Toe, I was hoping I'd see you. Do you have another run lined up for us yet? I'm strapped for cash. Yeah, we're fine on the job front. Amsel's been working overtime. Oh, thank God, and thank you, Chief. Thank Paul, too, come to think of it. So, you got a question for me, or was this a social call? Well, any thoughts about that last run you'd like to share? His eyes light up with excitement. The Mark 6 was an incredible piece of engineering, Chief. Never seen anything like it before, and the fact that it was rigger-enabled, I mean, oh man, the potential ramifications of that technology are staggering. It's a pity that we had to kill the thing. I mean, yeah, I get it. It must have been horrible for the troll that they installed all that stuff into, but it was a thing of beauty all the same. Just checking in on you. Money problems aside, you doing okay? Not too bad, Chief. Not bad at all. It's downright cozy in here. Probably goes without saying, but it's nice to have my skills appreciated by someone who isn't a drug-addled psychopath. So yeah, there's there. So you're strapped for cash. With all the work we've been doing, you should be rolling in new yen. Yeah, what can I say, Chief? He tries on a thoroughly unconvincing smile, but immediately seems to think better of it. The anxious look returns to his face. I have expensive tastes. How expensive are we talking here? Even if you had a raging cram habit, I'd think that you have at least some money left. Expensive. Truth be told, I'm in debt. In debt to who? He hesitates before responding, but when he does, his voice carries an edge of annoyance. No offense, but this is getting a little too personal, Chief. My debts are none of your business. If some bookie sends his thugs here looking for you, it's gonna become my business, so talk. Now. Blizz shakes his head in exasperation. Alright, fine. First things first, you don't need to worry about anyone coming after me. My debts are to a bunch of old contacts. If I don't pay them, I'm gonna lose them. In this line of work, it isn't smart to burn bridges. Second, before you ask, those debts are for services rendered. I was in a tight spot, needed some help, and I threw around a lot of IOUs to get it. Third and finally, the trouble I was in involved a girl. I'll tell you about it if you ask me to, but we're verging deep into personal feelings territory, so if you don't want to hear me sob over my ex-girlfriend, you'll drop the subject now. Nope, I don't care at all. This is a professional relationship, and the last thing I want to hear about is your love life. The last thing I want to talk about, so we're even. He offers you a lopsided grin. Now do me a favor and get out of here, okay? Let me smoke in peace. Let's go talk to Altug and see what he's got for us. Altug smiles at you from behind the counter. Welcome back, honored Effendim. How may I serve you? I recently procured a bottle of 50-year-old Islay Scotch. Would you perhaps be interested in acquiring it from me? Islay, you say? Might I examine the merchandise? He takes the bottle and his smile fades for a moment and he becomes all business, examining it with a critical eye. Then, as quickly as it faded, his huge smile is back. Quite a little treasure you found. I'm sorely tempted to ask where, in hopes of procuring more, but nah, it wouldn't be polite. I would perhaps value the bottle at 400 new yen. Charisma 5, 500 since I'm the only supply in town. Thank you, my friend. I have a buyer already in mind for this little gem, and perhaps I can keep it for myself. It's always good to have something special on hand for a celebration. Well, kinda like. Give me some Turkish coffee. You paid out extra, so there we go. We're friends. Friends as friends are due. Let's get on up out of here, and we'll start the next mission off before we do anything else, but I'll probably break this one off a slight of a bit early. Just because we don't really have any cash to buy anything. 1,600 new yen, I'm afraid, isn't going to get me very far. We have decent gear right now. I mean, nothing needs to be upgraded. I may swap out some of my spells for the next run just to say that I did, because there's certain things we're not using and there's other things that I would like. Namely, I may put in a fire barrier so that I can give myself medium cover whenever I need it. The light barrier is nice, but it's not quite something that I want to use on a regular basis. Alright, assemble the team and handle to OTK International. Tap Knight Errant Communications in preparation for the run against Aztechnology. Everybody's looking okay right now. I'm going to take my normal team because I enjoy bringing along the regular crew. I don't like to bring any new guys along if I can't help it. Nobody that I don't trust. Over here on this end, I'm going to drop... Well, maybe not right now. We'll go ahead and confirm. And as we cruise on out, it'll be okay. I didn't need to swap it out that badly. It's just one of those little things that I kind of wanted to do to play around. OTK International is a small-time software developer, and it shows. The company's main office is crammed up against the back wall of a massive shared office park, surrounded by competing businesses and larger corporations. A steady trickle of dead-eyed wage slaves flows in and out of the complex. The office park's main entrance is overflowing with hired security, but your forged key card gets you past them easily enough. A few minutes later, you're walking the winding corridors towards OTK International. You're only a few smashed computers away from putting Amsel's plan into motion. There we go. Now it lets me do all my stuff. So I'm going to drop that barrier. And I'm going to bring one of the better ones along. I think I'm going to bring lightning. I thought we brought fire. I thought we bought fire anyways. I guess not. And so for right here, I don't see anything that's going to fit into that slot. Acid Bolt 1. I don't know. Maybe we'll check it out and see if they stack separately so you get 2 burns in one turn. I don't know if it'll work like that, but it's worth a shot. Why not? Other things. Fog and Shadow will be useful if we really get ourselves into a point where we need Defilate or we need to retreat really badly. And beyond there, I feel like we're probably okay. We could throw a couple extras in here. Give him a drone repair kit because he doesn't have one, and Max is the name of his drone. That's kind of funny because my cat's name is Max. But whatever. Let's get on in here. And before we go any further, this is probably going to be where I break off the episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle for yet another episode of Shadowrun Dragonfall. I look forward to seeing all of you chummers in the next episode. So take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.